I guess this one will be getting a new flare. So it's time to take care of this. Alright, so I got the line loosened up, and I was using nitrogen to do a leak check. Has zero pressure on it. Got the line loosened up. I'm going to cut this off here, reflare it, stick it back on there, do a pressure test, and hope all my leaks are down here. Alright, what we're doing is just deburring the inside of that line so I can make a good flare. Alright, that's got that. Now we're getting ready to get the flaring tool out and make a flare for this thing. Now all we gotta do is just wait for the click. There we go. That was a click. See how good our flare nut fits on there. Hey, I'd say that's pretty good. Alright, we're gonna get this tightened down, do a leak check, and we'll be good then. Alright, that's the flare that's made by the Hillmore, and right there is the flare that I pulled off. So the one I'm holding in my hand that I just cut off was destined for a leak. But as you see, the Hillmore made a perfect flare. Perfect flare every time. And I see a little burr in there. I'll get it out of there and like I said, get it all attached and get a leak check on it. We're back to change the valve right there. You see I got the unit taken, the top taken apart. It's laying right there. Now we're going to take the side off and unsweat the valve using nitrogen, of course, and then braze a new one in. Pull the vacuum and get this thing running. Alright, so as you see, we had to take the whole thing apart. There's the back of it, the unit itself, the front, the top. But what we got to take off is this valve right here, which is right here, and then it goes up, and back here is where it's at. So we got to unsweat that and pull that off there, stick the new valve in, and hope everything goes okay. just got through unsweating that line there, and it wasn't in very far. But I do have my nitrogen going right here. Got the VN 250 set on braze, so there's no chance of any oxidation inside the line. So I'm gonna turn it off, and then unscrew this screw here and see if we can't pull that out of there. Look at that. Simple as that. Yeah, look inside there. It wasn't even sweated in that far, but mine will. I'll make sure mine goes in pretty far. But yeah, it's not a lot. Didn't go in very far there. Alright, so here's our new valve, and before you ever put it on, make sure you inspect the face of the flare and make sure there's no scratches or anything that's going to cause you any trouble, because as you saw from the other valve, it was a leaker. So we'll get that one put in. I'll cover the end of this one here, that one right there, make sure we don't get any dirt as we pass through, and I'll screw it in place and then get it brazed in. Alright, so I got my valve in place. As you see from the liquid on the ground, that's bubbles. I had a small leak which was at the flare joint, but it's not because I had to make a new flare. If you remember, this was the old one right here. So definitely I made a new flare because that one's junk. And my joint right there is okay, good, it's brazed up, looks like a factory joint, except I did put some pressure on this pipe from the bottom, pulled it down as we was sweating it in, and it's actually down inside of here now. I started off with 160.4 as far as my pressure test goes. As you see, it's going up, so you know, I think we're good on this one. I just got to put the unit back together because there's the back and the side. There is no disconnect out here. I don't know, whoever put the unit in did not put a disconnect outside for the unit. It's a very poor install, but you know, what are you going to do? So the homeowner is not here, so I'm going to get it put back together as best I can, get a vacuum pulled on it, and show you the valve here. I don't know if you can see from the camera, but right there where my thumb is, if you see that that darker line, that's actually a gouge in the face of the flare, and it was definitely leaking from there. I don't know how that happened, but definitely a cause of a leak. Very unusual call on this one. So it's been leaking for a while, I assume, because I believe this unit was actually installed somewhere else, and the guy that was living here before, I think he worked for a heating and air company, and they pulled off another job, and here it sits at this house now. But there you go, the little gouge in the face of the flare. It'll leak every time. Huh?
You still have to charge it?
No, it's already charged. We're ready to charge.
It's all done by weight?
Yeah, it's all weight. Alright, so as you saw from the scales, we were weighing it in according to the nameplate, and it holds 2 pounds 3 ounces. Got it all put back together, got the proper charge put in it. We're just waiting for the homeowner to turn power on, or turn the remote on, and it should be running here in just a couple minutes. Now this is not an inverter compressor. This is a regular compressor, so a regular unit. So this was before the days of inverter technology. But even though it was before the days of inverter, she's a running. So we'll let it run for a few minutes and see what happens. I had to add a couple more ounces to the to it, but that's where we're leaving it right there. Had added a couple, almost 3 ounces for an additional 5 foot. So you know, it goes up the wall. It's actually in like a loft area upstairs. It hangs on the knee wall, so there's an additional line length that it didn't account for originally. So there it is. That's what we're going to stay with. And once again, this is not an inverter compressor, so I'm just seeing what my superheat actually is, and it's showing 16.4. So I think we're good on this one.